My child? What is wrong? You can't sleep. Why, darling? Ah, I see. Well, I suppose... Are you hungry? No. Can I get you something to drink? What can I do to make you feel better? Let's see. I don't think... I can't remember many of my stories, to be honest. It's been a while since I've read to someone. Let me think. I do remember one story, but I might forget some details. Would that bother you, my child? Then I shall tell you the story of how echo flowers became. Now let's see if I remember the story. Once, there was a couple. They were Chiron, and they longed for a child, but they could not have one. So they went to their local magician, although local may not have been the right word. He lived high up on Mount Ebott. So they took the journey. It took half a day to get up the mountain. And when they arrived, the magician was sitting in his room, in his little cave, as if waiting for them. And he said, "You are here about a child, are you not?" And they said, "Yes. We've wanted one for so long, but we're just not able." And the magician said, "Then I have some tasks for you. For your wife, she must collect 5 shining rocks that look like the stars. And for you, the husband, you must find a way to collect your favorite color of the rainbow and put it in a jar. Then you must bring those rocks and that rainbow to me, and I will give you your child." The Chiron weren't sure they would be able to pull it off, but they went anyway. The mother, or soon-to-be mother, knew exactly where to find beautiful shiny rocks. They were in the underground, in the ceiling. It was very difficult to get to them, but a local Maltspay was happy to help them. She climbed up on it, and she plucked the 5 most beautiful rocks she could find, and carried them in a sack to the end of the mountain's underground, and came back out on top. Meanwhile, the husband waited and waited for a rainbow to be born from the rain and the sun, and when it did, he journeyed to the very end of it, and there he found a pool of water that was all the colors of the rainbow. And it took him a while to decide which one he liked best, but in the end he decided his favorite was the color indigo. You remember the colors of the rainbow, don't you? You learned this in school. Yes, very good. So, the Chiron husband took a jar, and he collected his favorite color in the pond, and he brought it to the top of Mount Ebott, where his wife was waiting with the stones. And they brought it to the magician, and they said, "We brought what you asked. Are you able to help us?" The magician said, "Of course, my dears." So the magician magician gathered the rocks like stars, and the color of the rainbow, and he put them in a jar, and he shook them with all his might, and then he cast a magic spell, and from the jar came an egg, and he said, "Your daughter will be born from this egg in 5 days' time." The Shiren were overjoyed, so they brought the egg down from the mountain, back to their beautiful pond, where they lived, and they waited, in excitement, for the 5 days to pass. And 5 days later, their beautiful daughter was born. She was more beautiful than any of the other Shiren, but it made her a target for much bullying. No one would speak to her. They assumed she would be full of herself, and they were jealous. Not only that, but she had strange tastes and strange interests, and it made people afraid of her. It's very sad, yes. One day, coming home from school, Shiren was so upset by bullies that she wandered into a forest. Past the forest to a waterfall. Nobody was there. She thought, "This must be my secret waterfall. It flows right into the underground." So there she sat, and she cried onto a little patch of earth, and from the earth grew a beautiful flower that sparkled like the stars and was the color of a rainbow, specifically a beautiful blue-purple color. But the more Shiren cried, the bluer it turned. Finally, the flower spoke. Yes. And it said, "My dear, why are you crying?" And she said, "I have no one to talk to. No one will listen to me. Everybody is either afraid of me, or they hate me. They think badly of me." And the flower said, "I was born of these feelings. Because you were so sad, I sprung up from the earth to be your friend." And the Shiren said, "Really? Are you serious? Really?" And the flower said, "Of course, my dear. Anytime you are sad, you can come to this waterfall, and you can speak to me. I will keep all your secrets. I will keep all your stories, and I will make sure that you are never treated badly in this place." The Shiren was overjoyed. Even though her friend could not move or play games with her, she finally had someone to speak to. One day, war broke out. You know the story of this war. Her parents told her to flee. "The humans are coming. They are afraid of us. They've risen up against us. You must run, my child." But Shiren refused. "Mother, father, I cannot leave you. What will happen if I am without you?" And they said, "Just think of us. When you look to the stars, there we will be." And so Shiren ran and ran, and she found her beautiful waterfall with her beautiful flower, and she said, "I have to leave this place. The monsters are going to go underground to escape the humans. Can you come with me?" And the flower said, "I'm sorry, my dear. I am too deeply rooted in this place." And the Shiren, she began to cry. "But I can't leave everyone behind. Who will I have underground? Nobody wants to make friends with me. What will change?" And the flower said, "Perhaps you can make more friends. Follow this waterfall into the underground. You will not be able to return back up, especially not with the humans on your heels. But perhaps you can find a way to make more of me." Shiren said, "Are you sure?" The flower said, "I cannot promise anything, but I can promise that the only way you'll ever find out is if you try." So Shiren leapt into the waterfall and let it carry her to the underground. Much garbage and trash and other such things were littering the area. She decided to leave and find a nicer place. So she went east, and she found a place with many waterfalls and beautiful sparkling water. She stayed there for quite a while. Unfortunately, no monsters passed through. They were still at the beginning of Mount Island. They had all fallen down underneath, and the magicians had trapped them by creating a barrier on the other side. No one was ready to venture that way, quite yet. There were still many people coming down from above, and people were waiting on their families and friends. Chiron started to cry. She cried as she walked forward, heading farther east to see if she could find her mother and father. And where she cried, sparks began to pop up from the ground. When she left the area with the beautiful waterfalls and the beautiful ponds, she went through a snowy area, the place you know is Snowdon. And she continued to walk, but she got colder and colder. She began to see monsters heading forth from the forest, and she called out, "Have you seen my parents? Have you seen my father? Have you seen my mother?" And a skeleton nearby said, "I'm sorry, dear. They did not make it." She says, "How do you know?" And he said, "I watched them die shortly after you left. I, too, was living there, in the shadows." She cried, and she cried, and she returned to where she had been before, back to the waterfalls, her only home. The more she cried, the more flowers sprouted in her wake. She became so lonely that eventually she perished. From then on, the flowers wept and wept themselves. They echoed her pain. And so from then on, people believed that if you whispered your dreams and your hopes and your apologies, your guilt, your wishes to make things right, no matter what you said, the echo flowers would echo it back, because they no longer had Chiron to speak to. So now, it is said that if you whisper a wish to an echo flower 5 times, your wish will come true. Once for every stone that made Chiron. And if you offer rainbow water, specifically indigo water, to the flower, it will grow bigger and bigger and sprout more flowers. That's why there are so many there now. It's not known for sure if it answers your questions. It's not known for sure if it'll grant your wish. But they say if echo flowers are left alone for too long, they no longer remember what was said to them, and instead you hear a gentle weeping, the weeping of the lonely Chiron. But now, there's so many people living all across the underground that the echo flowers never run out of things to say. Perhaps someone wished enough into an echo flower that you came along. You don't think so, do you? You never did tell me what made you come down there. I understand. You don't need to say anything. Maybe that story was too sad. I can't seem to remember any others. It's not sad. Why would you say it's not sad? You're right. If there are that many echo flowers, then perhaps Chiron left a legacy behind, and she's not really gone. After all, there are plenty of Chirons living in that area. Maybe they are the ones who tend to the echo flowers. I have not been to Waterfall in quite some time, even before you came along. Not since before Azrael was born. It's quite a long time ago. perhaps we shall take a trip there sometime. We wouldn't want the echo flowers to die out, would we? Do you have a wish? My wish. Well, it would have to be something realistic. Perhaps I could wish for my family and friends to never come to harm, and to always be happy, and to live long lives. What about you? I like that wish. It's very sweet. You're always such a thoughtful child. Oh dear. Can you hear my stomach? I think I had a little too much pie. But, it was my birthday. I think I can get away with an extra slice. Are you sure you do not want one? Alright, my child. Will you sleep now? Yes. Wonderful. In that case, I will leave you. If you need me, just call out again. I will always be here for you, my child. I love you. Sweet dreams, my child. We know where